shapeless. In other words, you play, so you do a crescendo, but it doesn't have a real shape. And many, many times, you just play notes in the same. When I was 18 years old, I left Israel to study in the United States. And I was fortunate to be at the Curtis Institute of Music. And the first oboist of the Philadelphia Orchestra was a Frenchman by the name of Marcel Tabato. And he was quite a great player and a great musician. And he had a big influence on many of us Curtis students. He invented a system whereby students had to put every note in a different place. We had to give numbers in order not to play monotonously. It's maybe dogmatic and maybe it's exaggerated, but it makes you shape the phrases, and I feel that you play many, many, many notes. You know, you do. And I just don't understand where you're coming, where the music is coming from, where it's going. So even if you do the wrong shape, or the shape that I don't agree with, I much prefer it to the no shape. So if you can, do try to have a purpose with everything. The Viennese second school composers, they wrote and wrote and wrote so many instructions. Mozart, Haydn, Beethoven, early Beethoven, Schubert, they didn't write very much. But it doesn't mean that they wanted this. You understand? So I really urge you to sometimes practice without the violin and just look how beautiful it is, how wonderful it is, and what you can do it to make it alive. Okay? The next thing is that you play so well, you really do. Very well in tune, very well controlled, everything. But I feel that you never ask yourself, what is the character of the piece? I know that it's a masterclass and there is an audience and we are all nervous, and you know, but this music doesn't speak of being nervous. It's very light, it's very gay, it's very funny. It has, you know, and it has lyrical passages, but it has marked anger. You know, this. You know, it's kind of. You understand what marked anger is, yeah. And I just feel that it's a little bit too serious and not light enough. And if you become the music, there's no way you will be nervous. You understand? And all of your strokes are not friendly. You know, all of your strokes, for instance, when you do, there are, you know, here, rasant and synthetic strings, and so if you can, try, you know what follow through means? In tennis, when you hit the ball, you're supposed to continue. The same here. No. You understand? And every instruction that he gives, I think you should ask yourself, why is it there? How can I make it difference to music? And this music is in 6/8, and that means 2. And it means that the first beat is normally heavy, the second beat is light, and you do it. The first beat is when you have crescendo and you don't have the principal voice, I would suggest to change it to the word listen. When you have the principal voice, do what you like. But if he has the principal voice, don't do the crescendo until you hear him do it, okay? Don't forget, crescendo should be crescendo. Alone it sounds very hiccupy or very vertical, but with the piano, she has a little, you know, give two accents, you will be heard. Piano cannot do this. That's not a bad thing. Last note. Better. Thinking, what is it that makes the great artists of the past so different from the great artists today? And I came to the conclusion that part of their technique was color. They varied their vibrato. They varied the way they approach the bow pressure and low speed. And above all, they varied their portamento or glissando. They could do different kinds of glissandi. Today, it's shunned upon. People think that it's old-fashioned. Well, when a singer has an interval bigger than a third, and he has the same, or she has the same vowel, he or she are forced to glissando, and I miss that a lot. You did a couple of them. A couple of them were beautiful, a couple of them I wouldn't recommend. You did, in my opinion, the glissando is a manner of singing that connects intervals. And when you have a D and another D, it's not an interval. So in singing, it's called scooping. And I would save that for the most excruciating harmony, or if you're singing a Schubert song for a very, very important word. But otherwise, interval of a fourth, fifth, and an octave are called cold intervals. And so very often when you sing, I recommend that you consider to do a glissando on those. For instance, consider it. It's kind of part of the art that is getting lost, and I miss it so much. When I listened I was fortunate to hear live some of the great artists of the past. That tells you my age, but yeah. The other thing is that you have such a beautiful sound. It's extremely beautiful. It's noble, it's pure, but it is monotonous. Monotonous does not mean boring, it means that it has one color. It's always sweet, it's always, but sometimes the music is not as sweet as other parts of the music. And so I would urge you to consider to vary your vibrato, as well as the contact point, as well as the bow pressure and bow speed. You understand? The other thing I want to say is that it is a very big club of musicians who believe that when a phrase is repeated, we must do something different. For instance, you did I am not a member of that club. My philosophy is that if a composer repeats himself, when we do something different, we don't repeat ourselves. And very often, such as in this case, he sets up, he does twice the same in order to do a third time that goes somewhere else. And so you take away the setting up by doing something. The only time that I will do something different if a phrase is repeated is if the phrase has a very big surprise, melodic or rhythmic or harmonic. Then if it is repeated exactly the same, I would feel less surprised. If you like. If you like. No, if you do. If you like. If you don't like, don't do it. I wouldn't go. With those intervals, it helps to do something. Now, go back to So you see, when I ask you to glissando, you're like a fish out of water. You're not comfortable. If you practice it, you may be comfortable, and then you don't have to do it. Today, if we glissando as much as people did, people will say it's very pitchy, it's very, it's beautiful, but I wish more people played like that. But it's good for you to be able to do it, and then do it or don't do it, depending on your mood or inspiration. Okay? It's really very difficult to practice intonation alone if you're going to play the piano. So if you have a friend who is a pianist, even a poor one, ask him to hit the chord and try to adjust to it. You will get better at it with practice, but we don't practice with piano. We have 1 rehearsal, 2 rehearsals, 3 rehearsals, and usually we do ensemble, but we don't do intonation. We do to be together and here and there and so on, which is important as well, but intonation we don't do. So it's very boring for a pianist to sit there and just wait for you to find the pitch. But if you have a good friend, another violinist, for instance, then you can do it for him, just playing the chord. So things like this are terribly critical because you're playing in unison with the piano. By perfect, I mean hopefully the piano is in tune, which is still out of tune, but we need to be close to that out of tune. Tempo. No, you can do, if you like. If you like. You know, I don't want to, yes, but if you try, you need to practice it